Okay, family. Hey, we are here with two sisters here. Please introduce yourself
My name is Jana Riquez. I'm a historian and also a gender specialist.
and yourself.
My name is Damaris, and I'm a museum guide here at Museum Kasipali Malaysia.
And so now, we are just here, just going to ask some questions so that you all are knowledgeable and aware of, the investments of the people here in Curacao. We know that there was emancipation in 1863 here. And can you please share with us uh, the advancements of our people here? How is it, from the time of 1863 to the current day? Have there been any, revolutions as far as movement, equal treatment? Are we seeing our people get their fair share? Is there reparations? What would you care to share in that?
Okay, first of all, after the emancipation was an emancipation where the owners of the enslaved people who were getting their freedom, they were giving reparation, not us. We didn't get not even a shovel, right? And per person, they got like two, to- two 200 guilders, okay?
This was who? The slaves?
The slave owners.
The slave owners.
The slave owners got the reparations. For those who don't know the history on that, please look that up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. But there were many limitations for the freed persons. For instance, if you are living on the terrain of the owner, you had to pay by giving free service for a certain amount of time.
Sharecropping.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
And it's like 15 days, but you know, this system stayed on in a zone in an area that we call Knit till 1975.
So there were people who were staying on the land of the folks who owned it, which was the Dutch, right?
Yeah,
And then this went all the way through to 1975.
right.
Okay.
So whereas in most places it didn't exist any longer after 1915 because then the oil refinery came and so many people moved to town so that they could get more money for their work. So, but in that area, the system stayed on till 1975.
Okay.
That's one thing. Another thing is that there was a law in Dutch. It says against kita zwerverij,
Zwijgerij.
zwerverij.
People walking on the streets and things like
Yeah.
that. Beggars. you would say.
Yeah.
Beggars. Okay.
Yeah, what they call beggars.
Okay.
If they find you doing nothing, they can pick you up, and then you have to do free labor, in particular of cleaning the streets. Okay.
We call that in America the Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws was that after slavery in 1865 in the United States, they create these laws. If you were loitering,
Yeah.
which once you set free, where are you going to go? You start walking, you're going to go through somebody's land, or you were found out trying to beg or asking for food or something to try to get north, they could arrest you, put you in jail, and you would have to work for
Yeah,
free.
It was the
Yeah.
exact same.
Same thing.
It's the same
Oh,
thing.
the Europeans spoke amongst each other around these different countries
Right.
and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
So if you were asking permit to have a piece of land so that you can grow your vegetables and so on, you have to ask the government if you can get the permit to do that. But then what does the government do? Ask the land owners, the big landowners.
The
If
who?
the big landowner,
The big landowners. Okay.
right? If this particular person, for instance, I want to put I want a piece of land next to this house, yeah? I have to ask for permission, and then if the landlords of the big landlords say no, this is I do not want to permit it,
Yeah.
then you will not get the piece of land.
Okay.
Another thing is you get the piece of land, for instance, but then there are other limitations. You can have only 5 goats. You cannot have a party of the tambour. Dancing, our African dances is not permitted. Yeah? So even if you have a piece of land, there are many limitations based on that. So, what do you see? That actually, through the system of limitation, our people were not permitted to create a group of landowners and also people who were farmers. You were not permitted because most of the terrain was in private hand. So the only thing that most times what was left over was immigration and seasonal immigration. So working a season in Venezuela or Cuba and turning back and sending money back. So this is the situation. After 1915, after the oil refinery came to Curacao, actually the owners of this multinational, they became like the next to the government, they became like
The powerhouses.
the powerhouse.
This
Yeah.
was who became the powerhouses?
The
owners,
Shell.
Yeah, the refinery, the Shell refinery. It
Yeah.
came in 1915.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, in the system, political system, there was the governor, there was an advice commission, but in that advice commission, the Shell always had a seat. Yeah. So they were also given political power. Okay.
So currently, you're saying right now you all have a government body here.
But
that-
this is different now.
This is different now. That's back in the-
In 1948, there was a general suffrage, yeah, so we could vote for who we want.
Yeah.
But in 1954, you got a charter. In that charter, it was based on the charter, we could get some form of autonomy. That means that certain aspects, political aspects, like your own education system, financial system, certain aspects we as a nation could do for ourselves. But most importantly, certain other aspects were stayed in the hand of Holland. So, till this day. So, for instance, till this day, there is a governor that if the government thinks that a law that has passed on in Parliament is against the interest of Holland, she will not sign it. This law, this proposal will go to Holland, and there the cabinet of ministers, Dutch ministers, will decide upon it. And for a facelifting, they have one particular minister, like we have 16 Dutch ministers, and one particular
Represents Curacao.
that represents Curacao. So, I mean,
You're going to lose almost a lot.
yeah. So the point is that we continue to be a colonial, in a colonial situation. Yeah? But then, if that is the case, how come we have not rebelled enough against this? How come?
Yeah.
Yeah? And it has to do with our mindset. So, if you do not get an education about who you are, you cannot learn about what is your power and historical power, then you are a weak person. And through ages, we have not been educated in who we are.
Let me ask you, who are we?
I think I will talk about myself.
Okay, because
I
you're saying
have-
educating yourself about who you are. Yeah.
I have African roots.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have also through history seen how much our people have, despite the oppression, been very creative and with in very in close reliance with nature, and have been always been very humanistic despite all the oppression that they have gone through. And that is part of my root. I'm very proud of who I am. Yeah? And what we want to do is contribute to the community, telling about all these things that is identifies us as who we are.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the minute that we can change the whole educational system that is based on our needs, then the sky is the limit. But as long as we are clenched to Holland and very afraid to stand on our own feet, then destruction is part of us.